Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. This is the Talisman League, and I'm still playing a shadow that uses all the chaos spells. And it's been a bit of an organic growth so far. I mean, all the skills are completely new, and I've been just trying them out as this league has been progressing. And I sort of kind of stumbled into something that resembles a build. So I figured, as I'm just traipsing through the sewers over here, and this tends to be the less interesting part of Act 3 in my personal opinion. So let's do a quick build recap, just to put a bit of method to the madness, so to say. So, the core skill, Contagion, right mouse button. The AoE, everything in that AoE is infected with the Contagion effect. It's a bit like a curse without actually being a curse, but it functions pretty similarly. It just sticks to the monsters for a while and it debilitates them in the process. It also synergizes very nicely with my second skill, my primary attack skill, which is Essence Drain. Essence Drain is a projectile attack. It shoots a chaos projectile that actually hits for some damage on impact. Well, some damage, it's actually effectively now 80 to 120. But it also does a pretty nice amount of damage over time, which is also chaos damage over time. And there is a synergy between the two. If an enemy dies while it's affected by contagion, contagion will spread to all nearby monsters. If Essence Drain is in effect on a monster while contagion spreads, Essence Drain spreads along with it. So the end result of that is basically what I've come to call the gunpowder effect, or lighting a fuse. You put contagion on a group of monsters. If I could only find a group of monsters. Come on. Yeah. So here, a group of monsters. I put contagion on all of them. I shoot one of them with Essence Drain, and the moment it dies, contagion spreads to all of them, and Essence Drain spreads to all of them as well. So one gets hit with Essence Drain, the moment it dies, all of them are affected by the remaining duration of Essence Drain on the person that died. So one dies, and then usually within a fraction of a second, a lot of the party members or group members of that monster also die. And if they are further spread along the way, it might be like a chain of dominoes, where only the ones that are within range of the contagion will actually get affected. But sometimes it's just enough to put contagion on them and wait a bit longer. The Essence Drain is a very nice accelerant in that regard. So that's the core part of my current build. And as a recap, so Contagion, the base damage on it is only 15.8, but in practice I'm achieving 90 points of damage. So almost 16, almost 90. So I have a 5x multiplier on this. How come? Well, I've got two support gems, the Void Manipulation. It produces elemental damage on this, but Contagion doesn't do elemental damage, so that negative effect actually has no impact, but it boosts chaos damage by 25%. Similarly, Controlled Destruction. It completely removes the chance of critical strike. Contagion is not capable of critical striking, at least not according to the tooltip. But I do get 27% more spell damage, and as Controlled Destruction levels up, it will only become more. In addition to that, in the passive tree, I made a quick beeline for this ring over here. Partially because I'm playing on the hardcore and I really like the life regeneration on these three, while I also like the increased damage over time effect of these four nodes. So this is a very efficient node in terms of both boosting survivability and damage at the same time. But basically this boosts damage over time effects by 50%. From here you can drop down, get a boost to spell damage. You drop down further. There's just some evasion things, there's some more life over here. Here you get 20% boost to chaos damage, which is pretty nice, because chaos damage is not the same as damage over time, even though my spells are both chaos and damage over time. It's actually a separate source of damage increase, and so they probably stack differently. Here it's more boosting to damage over time, so it just adds on top of the boost that you already got here. Here you get 5% extra effect duration, so the debuff lasts 5 seconds of 5% longer. Both applies to Contagion and Essence Drain. More damage over time. Here you boost your casting speed slightly. And more life. And here is also a sequence of 5 nodes that boost chaos damage. I'm really conservative about life, so I made a beeline for this. If you're not as concerned with that, or if you're playing on softcore, you probably just want to start out with this and just follow the chain up to there and take this as your destination to eventually get to, rather than quickly get to. My plan is to just get these 3 nodes and then eventually just refund these intelligence nodes and use the points for something else. But just a quick way to get to here. Similarly, for S-Drain, it's also just a chaos damage. The initial bolt, 19 to 29, gets boosted to 78 to 119. So that also gets almost boosted by a factor of 4 on just the initial hit. And the damage over time, 66 becomes 375. So that's more than 6 times boosted as well. So those are the 2 core skills. And if you only have that, that's already good enough. Hey, let's see, Ivorici. But there's a bit more. Another part of the chain, let's see, is Wither. Wither is, I'm not quite convinced about it just yet, but it's this area thing, and it applies purple glowy orbs to the enemies. So let's see, let's affect some of them and then do this debug. And they died too quickly. Next time I'm casting it, just pay attention to them. They get purple glowy orbs around them, almost like power charges, but purple. And this boosts the damage they take by 7% per orb that's floating around them, and they get slowed down by 30%. And I think that's just a fixed effect. And well, this is a way, if you Contagion and Essence shot a group and then you just keep withering them as they approach you. You slow them down, so their approach to you is slowed, so that's already a slight benefit. And on the other hand, you make them take more damage, and it stacks up to 20 times, I think. I remember reading that somewhere. Even though the base duration of the debuff effect is only 2 seconds. But that's why it has a very fast casting time. It's about a quarter second by default. I boosted it slightly. So in this regard, in this way, I can cast it about 9 times, I think, within 2 seconds. So 9 times 7 is 63% extra chaos damage that they take. Which, if you're in a boss fight and you already got Contagion stacked and you already got Essence shot on the enemy, you might as well just put Wither on them to make them die faster. Okay, so those are 3 of the new skills with some of the passives applied. And I got faster casting on this to just make it go a bit faster. Then curses, that's something that came completely, or just came recently to the build. And there's 2 curses that I can see that can work with this. There's Temporal Change, basically slows down time around enemies, so they move slower, which is nice, so since they approach you less fast, and you can just run circles around them. But the negative effects on them expire slower. Used to read effects, and now I see the tooltip say something about the curses. Where did we put it? Where did we put it? Temp change, yes. Other effects on cursed enemies expire 40% slower. So effectively, the way I'm reading that is that damage over time effects last 40% longer. So if you have an Essence Drain that lasts for almost 4 seconds, on an enemy that's cursed with temporal change, it lasts 40% longer. So you get 1.6 seconds on top. And let's see, I think I need to go that way. So you get more damage out of a single cast, and especially if you combine it with Contagion, the longer they are affected by Contagion, the longer you have to kill an enemy, and that it will spread your other effects, for instance Essence Drain, for free, which is the real kicker. So the virality of Contagion becomes even more enhanced as you increase the duration. So temp change is pretty nice for that. Though oftentimes, at least for now, this is still just actually normal. Monsters die pretty quickly. And just having a lot of skills, it's something to get used to. The core is Contagion and Essence Drain, and most of the time the other skills aren't even necessary yet. I'm currently still trying out what works with them. Let's see, contains additional magic items. Also another thing I found is with this skill, because you're using damage over time to kill enemies, you need patience. It's not that you blap them instantly and move on. You can't kill enemies from like 5 screens away and then just hoover up the loot as you get there. You need to invest a little bit of effort into killing things. So one of the things I did was just pick up a conversion trap, which is especially nice for bigger groups like this. If you convert a couple of enemies, then enemies will group around them. Grouping enemies is of course a very nice thing to do here. Okay, and especially with enemies that spread out, they are the most annoying ones. Okay, so in this case, if we just run around a little bit, just touch them, and then the Contagion will do the rest. And I can definitely see increasing the range, the radius on Contagion being a very, very, very strong effect in the future. What? Because if it has more range, it will spread further, and it will become easier to just clear bigger parts of screens and do more with enemies that have a natural tendency to spread about. So that's, once I actually pick up the support gem for it, I will definitely try it out, and it will just be a part of my my series going forward. Or it might not actually work, and then I'll know that as well. Ooh, Talisman guy. And the nicest thing is, I think, is that especially if you have a boss and then some other normal enemies around it, you can just clear all the trash minions relatively easy without too much effort. Let's ignore that one for now and move on. Keep killing. Keep killing, and only they will get hurt. Arctic armor. Let's see. So last parts of the world. I got Arctic armor on. Seemed useful. Bit of a defensive skill. To take less physical and fire damage when you stand still. Since I'm going energy shield and evasion on this particular build, I figured some physical damage reduction might be nice in regards to not actually having any armor. All the little bits help, or so they say. And I think that's it. Yeah, I got Flame Dash as a movement skill, and it helps with crossing broken bridges and all the interesting things like that. Let's see, and I was just slowly increasing my bridge over here and doing more damage with everything in the process. So with enemies, I try to just group them and then cast Contagion a couple times, and then Essence Drain on one, and that lights as a fuse, and everyone else just seems to keel over. So I think that's as far as a recap of what the build does. That's pretty good. So Yeah, if you haven't been a regular viewer of this series, now you have a decent overview of what the build is like so far. And if you are a regular viewer of the series, then you might have a slightly clearer picture of how I currently view things. So there's a Torah here. Hunt down the infected beasts. Well, as long as it doesn't interfere with my goal of getting to another area, I am perfectly fine with that. I think these are particularly annoying enemies, because they actually just run around and they're very nervous. Rather than attacking me, keep moving. Some skeletons. Okay. Oh. I'm noticing the mana issues I have because I've just stacked so many modifiers on top of my my skills, and because the enemy AI kind of favors them scattering rather than grouping. I need to cast a bit more than I would like to. It works okay-ish, but it would be nicer if the enemies grouped up a little bit better. Well, that's one of the things that I'm actually looking forward to getting Abyssal Cry. Because it's a war cry which tends to taunt enemies. I hope that overrides their naturally nervous / fleeing AI. And it does chaos damage and it explodes enemies when they actually get too close. Or when they die. So I hope that's gonna amplify the effect of the contagion essence drain build even further. Let's see, market sewers. We can actually just walk on there. At least there's a waypoint to look for here. Let's see, I want to at least get to the waypoint here, and maybe if I'm lucky find the exits and find the Gemling Queen. And otherwise maybe, I don't know, at least get the next waypoint. Should be enough time for that. Let's see, I think we can walk past here, see what's up. And this is the edge of the level, okay. How are we? That's probably the passage where the statues are all lined up. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, named one. Okay, let's bunch them up. Get over here. He goes down, but it takes a little bit of time. You know what? I don't care about large items. They're not efficient to pick up. Too bad for you. And the waypoint, excellent. And there's the assassination target, which is even better. Okay. Cool. We killed them. Pick up some more items. A yellow wand, that's better than a yellow sword. From my perspective at least. Some more efficient items to pick up. Sapphire ring. Okay. Let's have a look. I think the Torah wasn't too far. more or less next to the entrance of the level. And then we can do a waypoint and then just, or a portal and then take a waypoint onwards. Though, looking at the time, I think this is a very nice point to end the episode. Vulnerability. And let's see, hello there Varici, happy Varici, level 2 Varici. And then just portal out and sell stuff. But I'll do that off screen. So I hope you enjoyed this. Did a bit of a recap rather than just progressing, and especially since the sewers aren't the most exciting part, I figured a build recap might be a nice way to mix things up. So let me know what you think of it, especially if you've seen some earlier videos. Compare, contrast. Do you like this? Is this something that might be something to do more often, every 10 levels or so? Maybe just do a slight recap of the builds, where I'm at, where I'm thinking of going, so you can compare and contrast insights over time. Let me know. I always appreciate the feedback. So with that, I thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the series, don't forget to subscribe. And everybody who's a regular, you already have, and I'll see you again next time. So bye bye.